Anyways, now we got something a little bit more fun, a little lighter. We get to put the kid hats back on now.
Woohoo!
WrestleMania weekend.
Yes. They just keep adding to it.
We've got, as it stands right now, and I'm sure I'm going to forget something, and I'm leading to something, so guys, bear with me for a second. There is the Unbreakable pay-per-view on Thursday, the WrestleMania SmackDown, the Stand and Deliver, oi oi oi, WrestleMania Night 1, WrestleMania Night 2, the Raw after WrestleMania. They're sticking around to do NXT in Vegas. There's the Roast of WrestleMania. There's the Hall of Fame. There's, if you're down in the area, I know What Culture is doing a lot of stuff live there as well.
There's the kickoff dinner. There's the after parties that go to 4:30 a.m. every night with WWE superstars there. The tickets are like $50 to $79 to go.
And if you've got $100,000, you can watch WrestleMania with Hulk Hogan. Hey.
Yeah.
But it's
down to $6,900 now. Go figure.
But they've also got the SLAMMY Awards as part of WrestleMania weekend, which is what they always should have been. Let's be real for
That's what made the most sense. Absolutely.
They just did them random points in the year just to make a random episode
whenever they
of Raw.
needed it. And then it started to go like, close towards the end of the year, kind of, but then it wasn't, so...
See, and here's the thing. If you want to do it as a year-end roundup, like pre-tape it, do whatever, and drop it as like your last episode of Raw at the end of December, that's cool, because that's a year-end wrap-up thing. But I mean, if you were wrapping up the year early, like last year, we wouldn't have included the New Day turn. So maybe do it in the first week of January. I would say, because WrestleMania weekend is crowded, make it for the last calendar year, like for this year, like make it specifically talking about 2024, and make it part of Royal Rumble weekend.
I like that.
Because Royal Rumble kicks off the year, so why do we not include one thing there that wraps up everything from last year? Anyways, so we're gonna go through the categories. We're gonna give our thoughts. It's pretty WWE saying here's the answer and here's 5 other options, but I'm just gonna go with it. We'll get whatever conversation we can out of it and call it a day. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, absolutely. Okay.
SLAMMY for
sorry about him, but yes.
Breakout Star of the Year. According to WWE, these are the candidates: Stephanie Vacour, Chelsea Green, Jacob Fatu, Tiffany Stratton, Julia Obafemi, Penta, Lyra Valkyria, Braun Breaker.
Yeah. It's a tough one because Penta's not been there that long. Like he's definitely a big breakout star, but not the breakout.
Yeah, Penta's not on my list. He's made a good start, but I think he's still in his start.
Yeah. Lyra's a good name, but I don't know.
I'll tell you where I'm going. I'm saying Braun Breaker over.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going.
Over Obafemi, but like just by a hair. Like I would almost say Braun Breaker, Obafemi as the co-winners. Braun Breaker just edging him because he's just.
If Obafemi captured the title a little bit sooner, he would have probably had more. But like that match of Moose, he needed like one more of those.
Yeah.
And I would have given it to him. But Braun has delivered so many OMG moments.
Oh yeah.
Just with him fucking running around the ring like a maniac.
It's funny because like there's guys that do big stunts like I've said Bronson Reed before already, right? Braun Breaker's big stunt is just watching him have a match.
Yeah. He's
like
just
we're not talking about
fast.
We're not talking about, like we've done it in previous pods. We're not talking about who the person to fight him at WrestleMania is. We're discussing who the pack of people to fight him at WrestleMania is.
Exactly.
Lyra's awesome, but I think she needs to do some more connecting because I don't think she's connecting on the main roster just yet. Penta just got there. Julia and Stephanie, I kind of disqualified because you could tell WWE brought them in and they already got a chance to hit the ground running, so they didn't have like a start at the bottom, go up thing. Like they started at the top pretty much.
Yeah, and just worked their way up.
And Tiffany Stratton is not quite on the main roster what she was in NXT, so I want to say she will be, but not yet. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm going Braun Breaker, just edging out Obafemi.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm in agreement. I was going to say Braun is my pick, probably more than anybody else. I think he would be the best pick they have. So
okay, social star of the year. There's only two options: Chelsea Green and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah,
and it's a tie. Like, fuck off with those choices.
I hope it's not a tie, but I forget. I think Chelsea won last. No, Drew won last year, and Chelsea stole it from him. Like that was the joke. So again, they're both nominated. I wish they threw a few more names in here to make it a bit more not realistic, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea wins this year. Drew won last year. I think Chelsea gets this one.
You think Chelsea wins and Drew McIntyre
I think
steals it to make up for last year? I think
yes.
I think it's going to be a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hate some of these categories. Vote now for your what the fuck moment of the year.
Some of these are like, come on.
Some of these are dumb. R-Truth mistaking Triple H for Tommaso Ciampa. Kevin Owens doing all of his car interviews, which is fair. Chelsea Green going into the dumpster. Dominic Mysterio in the shark cage. ISO Speed with Logan Paul at WrestleMania. LA Knight in Logan Paul's pool. I don't know. R-Truth wrestles with John Cena. I don't know when that was a thing.
That was, remember, The Miz and Truth had the Raw tag team titles. They won at Mania.
Oh.
And then Truth kept saying, I got a partner. They were facing the Judgment Day. And then halfway through the match, Cena came out, and the crowd went ballistic, and he was their partner. That was the only match he had in 2024, too.
Okay. The random noises made by Tama Tonga.
Like...
Jacob Fatu yelling "I love you" solo, and the Wyatt 6 debut.
I would, if not the Wyatt 6, yeah, that's probably the top of my list. There was one other I forgot at the top, but the Wyatt 6 is the standout.
Honorable mention to the Kevin Owens car interviews, just because they're so different from anything else on SmackDown, and they're so
what we're used to.
They're so low key compared to how high quality WWE is.
Yes, and absolutely.
And the simple answer of it's fucking Kevin Owens doing Kevin Owens things.
Yeah, they kind of like, let him off the leash, but it's true, you know.
It's true, absolutely true. All right, match of the year. Oh, this is
the way they laid this out, I was surprised too. I wasn't expecting it to be. I figured that would be last, but no, not with the.
Well, I'm starting from the bottom because
But even still, it's still not the last. You know what I mean? It's packed in the middle.
Yeah. Well, I think individual person of the year is better over match of the year.
Match of the year, yeah, true.
I think it's like leading actor, leading actress type thing.
Yeah. I always looked at match of the year as like movie of the year, so you know.
Yeah. All right, Roman versus Cody at WrestleMania, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre at Hell in the Cell, Roman Reigns and The Rock versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. They got in there twice. That seems like it's cheating.
Right. Night 1 and Night 2 should be one option.
Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest versus Gunther, Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles at Backlash France.
Yeah.
If I could vote for the audience there, then yeah.
Yeah.
The 2025 Men's War Games match: Bayley versus Io Sky at WrestleMania, Sami Zayn versus Gunther at WrestleMania, Gunther versus Randy Orton at Bash in Berlin, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk on the Raw Netflix premiere. Oh, I've got a predictable answer for me that nobody's gonna like. You go first.
I was saying Punk and Drew.
Okay, we're on the same page then.
Yeah, that's what I figured you were going with, and that's what I'm going with. That was just it lived up to everything I wanted it to be. It made the Cell violent, their feud, all of it was just worthwhile. It was awesome.
I'll say something that is absolutely true, and other people will say is controversial. Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, Bloodline Rules at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship was a segment, not a match.
I agree, because the ending like 5 minutes with everybody coming out and all that, that's what is remembered. But besides that, it was a very long, slow Roman Reigns doing his heat moments, you know, that kind of stuff. Hey, I'm going to kick him. I'm going to hold him down. And just beating on Cody, and he's got to overcome the obstacles and all this. You know, it was a very Roman Reigns heel match. And the last 5 minutes were super, super exciting.
Let me just say something, right?
No.
When I say that this was not a match, it was a segment.
Yes.
That is not an insult, at least not coming from me, right?
It's so memorable.
It's not, because it's a segment, and in that segment, it was the most fan service, storytelling, everything that kicks ass about wrestling.
Exactly.
Like throwing its dick out on the table, right? But it wasn't a match. The match the night before was more a match than that. And it's not a dig. People are going to come at me. I understand that. People are already coming at me for other things. We don't need to talk about it. But, like, it's not a match. Like, Seth and Drew at the beginning of that night is more of a match. Even though there was some, shenanigans at the end with Punk on commentary and the cash-in and the great moment for Priest and all that. Great moment, great match. Great mini-match with the cash-in. This was a segment. It was an awesome segment. It's probably crystallized as one of the best, wrestling segments that I can think of in recent memory. This is where I said, and I said it to you 100 times, I'm not really a Cody guy, but tonight everybody's a Cody guy. Right?
Exactly.
But it's not a match.
Sorry, Milo was freaking out. He really likes that Roman Reigns main event, and you and I pissed him off.
I'm not even pissing on it. I'm just making the distinction.
I'm just being funny, but
because
no.
you're
absolutely right. And
I'm sorry. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes was the biggest thing happening in WWE, and then
it was the biggest thing happening in wrestling.
And then CM Punk showed up
at that time. Yeah.
CM Punk doubled down on, oh my God, it'll never happen again. Because, first of all, it was, oh my God, he'll never come back to wrestling. Second of all, it was, oh my God, he'll never come back to
WWE. Yeah, because, talk about the Starks burning every bridge line,
yep.
No doubt about it.
And, the other side of the coin as well, and I hate to overlook Drew McIntyre because he's an integral part of it as well. Not only was that the feud of the year, and we're probably going to get to feud of the year in a second, but the biggest...
That's kind of a given between you and I.
The biggest compliment I can give the two of them is they breathed new life and new legitimacy into a gimmick in the Hell in the Cell that had been flogged into the ground.
Yeah.
Like, imagine watching Seth... all due respect to Bray Wyatt, who's passed on, and Roddy Raw. Imagine watching Seth and The Fiend in Hell in the Cell, and then watching this.
Yeah, no kidding.
Anyway, so I think we're in agreement there. Vote now, rivalry of the year. There's the one that wins, and there's everybody else.
Yeah,
Bloodline versus Bloodline, Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton, Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. I hate to say it, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes wasn't the feud. The Bloodline already existed, and then Cody Rhodes decided to come back and get a belt for his daddy.
Yeah,
that's not
exactly.
Anyway,
and that's where we left off with everything.
And it's CM Punk and Drew for all the reasons we've just said. Tag team of the year. This one is interesting.
Young Bucks.
Nah, Fraxium. Anyways, and they're not on here because I think NXT's doing their own awards again.
They better
DIY,
be. I saw it announced that they're doing them again, but...
Yeah, the NXT awards are kind of cool because they get that gold ring bell with the hammer.
Yeah.
DIY, Awesome Truth, A-Town Down Under, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, Motor City Machine Guns, Bloodline, the War Raiders, the Judgment Day, Street Profits, and Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. My answer is none. And I'll tell you for why, right? I love DIY. WWE has not succeeded in getting the general audience behind or against them. Awesome Truth don't exist anymore. A-Town Down Under are decidedly an undercard act. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair has Bianca Belair in it. Motor City Machine Guns are not quite where I'd like to see them. What is a Bloodline? The War Raiders are awesome, but they've been...
What is a Bloodline?
Yeah, it's true.
I know. It's just funny the way you phrased it, because it did make me...
War Raiders, respectfully, I love them as a team. I love that they've kind of been fixed now, and they're not as gimmicky, but they were both gone with injury for a long-ass time. What is a Judgment Day? Street Profits kind of fucked off for a while and decided to show up 2 weeks ago and win belts. And Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez is a relatively new development because Liv Morgan had the one-on-one rivalry with Rhea Ripley. So even though they're not on here, my answer is Fraxium.
It works, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would still say Fraxium, but
we're writing them in.
If not, and I had to be actually realistic here, I would Judgment Day.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's probably the best way to go with it.
I want to know what Judgment Day would look like right now if JD hadn't gotten hurt, because I feel like the story shifted after he. I mean, obviously it had to.
And here, I thought you didn't want to bring him up. I'm telling you.
Nope, not giving that oxygen. I don't have an answer because all the cool tag team wrestling that I'm watching is happening on NXT right now, and that's a dickhead statement from me. But predictable. But
I could say DIY with what they did. The Motor City Machine Guns are great. DIY turning heel and the run they had with the belts made it special on SmackDown. I mean, there are things to be included, but there also are things being overlooked, like I said. And it's weird because they threw NXT people in some categories and not in others. So it's like, what do you want? What are you doing?
I think for the moments that NXT people have been thrown in there, I think it's an indicator of who they're bringing up soon. I think that's all that is.
Yeah.
Like Obafemi, by the end of this year, is going to be on the main roster, I would say.
He has to be. Him, Trick, because you figure when Carmelo was there, Trick being there, like how long it's been now. He needs to go, and
they got to be careful though, because they tried to bring up Carmelo as a singles guy. So if they bring up Trick and they start doing tag stuff, is that kind of like a quiet admission that he didn't work as a singles guy? Because I don't think that's necessarily the case.
No, that's not. I wouldn't say that's the case. It's just because they have history and they work well together. So
I think you do what you're doing with the Lucha Brothers. You put one on one brand and one on the other, and then bring them together eventually if you want to. Yeah. It's like you get 3 debuts. Like right now we've had the debut of Penta, we're gonna have the debut of Phoenix, and in say like a year or so, if you bring them together, then you get the debut of the Lucha Brothers.
You took the words out of my mouth from Monday. That's exactly what I said on the review. I was like, yeah, this is what's happening because they get the triple play here. Yeah. Like you said, the 3 pop, it happens. And then you're going to have them also like cross paths at one point too. So technically 4 pops, but
if they manage to keep them apart, and I'm talking with the Lucha Brothers here, if they manage to keep them apart and then they're number 1 and number 2 in the Rumble.
That was lit. God damn you. So I was going to say to you, I had heard that the original idea was to have Phoenix be number 1. Nice. Or number 2, excuse me. Penta was going to be number 1. And he was number 2 in the Rumble, I think, right?
Yeah, was he? I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so that has some merit there. It's not, it's treading water. But the way I heard it is that they were hoping to have Phoenix in time, and they were going to debut him on there against Penta.
Do this then. Then. The thing is, we're talking about 2 different teams here. Carmelo comes in at number 1. Penta comes in at number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Trick comes in at number 3, and there's a double team. Phoenix comes in to balance the scores. Not only is it a surprise, not only is it, I mean, he's already debuted at this point, but like it's a surprise.
Maybe not. I wouldn't debut him. I would wait and have him debut here.
You'd wait till next year.
No. I'm saying they wanted him to debut at this Rumble.
Oh, at this Rumble.
That's how they wanted it. This past Rumble, they had wanted. The talk was they wanted Phoenix number 2, Penta number 1. They were trying to get him in time, and then they were going to have him go to SmackDown, keep Phoenix, away from Penta, and then eventually, like as you're saying, paths connect. But it makes perfect sense, really.
Lucha Brothers versus Mello and Trick would be a lot of fun too.
There's so many. You and I could sit here for the next 15 minutes and be like, well, what about?
I mean, they've done it in TNA, but Lucha Brothers versus Motor City Machine Guns. Anyways,
that would, we've seen.
Anyways, throw DIY in the mix as well. DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Lucha Brothers, Usos,
and Street Profits. Hell,
Montez Ford's got guilt by association. It's fine. Here's another one that we'll kind of groan over.
The sins of the wife. Happy life.
Hey, that means I would have to fuck over the Usos too. Anyways, faction of the year. Another one that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
OG Bloodline that are all doing their own thing right now. Judgment Day. What is a Judgment Day? The new Bloodline that's now being run by Jacob Fatu and is not called the Bloodline anymore. American Made and Damage Control. And at this point, I hate to say it, but what is a Damage Control?
It's not even there anymore. It's a shell of its former self. I don't know what they're going for here, but it's not good.
Here's the thing, and I wouldn't have said this until I've seen it on the screen in front of me right now. Currently, I got to go with American Made.
Yeah.
Because, the members of, the OG Bloodline did what it was supposed to do. It put Roman into the stratosphere. Sami Zayn didn't need any boosting. He was already a made guy, and it brought up the Usos. And you see what Jimmy is, and Jay's going for a world title at WrestleMania. The OG Bloodline has served its purpose.
It's happening, yeah.
I think watching them all individually succeed now is the success of the OG Bloodline. They're succeeding as a group separately.
Yes. You
can't say the same for the new Bloodline because we don't know where Tongaloa is. Tama Tonga is a gimmick right now. Solo is trying to be something, and Jacob is there to remind him that he's not something. American Made are just a fun team. American Made, they're both heel teams, but Chad Gable and his two big guys versus Wesley and his two big guys.
Yeah, it's working, be a lot of fun. And it's fun, yeah. And that's the thing, it is fun, and it's working, and it's exciting.
If all four members of Damage Control could stay healthy, I would love to say Damage Control. Because I love even throw Bayley back in the mix for the purpose of this conversation. Bayley, Dakota Kai, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Io Sky. That's a pretty fantastic group of female talent.
No shit.
Never have they all been healthy at the same time. I feel bad. I'm not laughing at them. I'm just
holy it's just
Christ.
The way it works. Yeah, no, you're not wrong at all. And it's come on, really? But nope, that's the truth.
Okay, so we've had WTF moment of the year. Now it's the OMG moment of the year. Totally separate.
Yeah, totally different. I didn't recognize this at all.
The last portion of the Roman Cody match at WrestleMania. That's very specific. Dominic Mysterio turning on Rhea Ripley. Kevin Owens turning on Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. New Day turning on Big E. Tiffany Stratton's Money in the Bank cash in on Nia Jax. Damian Priest's cash in on Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. Wyatt's 6th debut on Raw. Braun Breaker spearing ISHO Speed at the Royal Rumble. He got hurt. Bronson Reed hitting a tsunami on the car. John Cena turning on Cody Rhodes at the Elimination Chamber. Roman Reigns returning at SummerSlam. Io Sky beating Rhea Ripley to become the women's world champion on Raw, which is only 2 weeks ago. So good to them to forever put this together.
Yeah,
this is you're spoiled for choice here.
Yeah, no kidding.
I feel like the New Day turning and John Cena turning is almost one entry. You know what? For the amount of story that went into it and the amount of story that came out of it, there's a big... And it says Damian Priest, right? But if you think about the moving parts involved, I could make a case for Damian Priest's cash-in.
I could too, because that was huge, and that led to the start really... Not the start, but it added the real spark to Punk and McIntyre.
Because it spearheaded Damian Priest's face turn. It spearheaded him being kicked out of the Judgment Day. It spearheaded Cody Rhodes.
Because up until that point, McIntyre injured Punk, but Punk, but Drew was kind of done with Punk. He's I took care of you. You're out. I ruined your WrestleMania.
Drew had ruined Punk's thing about main eventing Mania, which is carried over right into this year. Drew McIntyre was on his way to saying, I want to win that fucking belt when there's actually people involved and people in the stands. What we didn't remember was that Seth Rollins was injured and he was on his way out. That wasn't part of the story, but that was real life stuff.
That was real, yeah.
But it was the set-off for CM Punk. It was the set-off for Drew McIntyre, which was the feud of the year, which led to them saving Hell in the Cell, which is something that still goes through to this day. It did the world of good for Priest. It helped. It's an awkward one because him becoming the champion led to him turning face, him being dropped by the Judgment Day, and him getting that first title reign under his belt
Yeah.
then led to him being a much bigger character after he dropped the belt. So, yeah, the Cena turn is cool. That's going to affect him and Cody Rhodes. The New Day thing is basically like, okay, just everybody on Raw hates the New Day now. I think for how much came out of it, the Priest cash-in is my answer.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there. Absolutely.
There's a lot of fun. Like, they throw in some random shit on here, like the Bronson Reed tsunami on the car. Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right, whatever.
Oh, I didn't mention Roman Reigns.
That was great, but, like...
It's just a fun thing. It's not, oh my god, because
exactly.
we have seen it. Roman Reigns returning at SummerSlam as well was like, okay, Roman Reigns like disappeared after WrestleMania, and it led to the whole formation of the second bloodline and him finally coming back to return his throne. That didn't happen until this year at the Netflix debut. It's in the running, but it's not in the top.
Yeah, it's not the moment, not by a long shot.
I'm sure it's not going to win. I'm sure the New Day turn or the John Cena turn are going to take this. And they should. And the Wyatt Six is another strong candidate just because people wanted it for what it represented and all that kind of thing. So there's a lot of sentimentality attached to it. There's a lot of really good, strong options here. But I'm going with Priest in the cash-in for all the other moving parts around it rather than just the moment itself. Most memorable entrance. Interesting.
Yes.
Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, Jey Uso on Raw with Travis Scott, Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, The Rock at WrestleMania, Bayley at WrestleMania, Randy Orton at Bash in Berlin, Seth Rollins at WrestleMania with the Mummers, Sami Zayn. I guess Seth got 2 entrances at WrestleMania. Yeah. That's fine. Sami Zayn in Montreal with Jey Uso, Sami Zayn at WrestleMania with Kevin Owens and Chad Gable, Logan Paul at SummerSlam with MGK.
Because they weren't with him. They were, like, backstage talking him up, right?
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. Gotcha. Sorry, I just clicked into that. Dominic Mysterio at Bad Blood with Liv Morgan on the Lowrider.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle. I'm going to go purely with presentation on this one rather than who was involved. The full orchestra doing the Roman Reigns thing at WrestleMania was it for me.
Like, you're saying Roman Reigns? You know what? The first time they sang was doing it with Orton at Bash in Berlin. Mm-hmm. Like, it's up until that point, no one had sang his theme. Yeah. Now everybody's singing themes, but at that time, like, they kept it going. Like, that was wild.
I think it was the first real, like, okay, people have finally accepted Randy Orton.
Yes. And it was, so that for me really stood out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, you're coming at it from a different angle than I am. I just think the entire production and presentation and like just the logistics of putting it all together, like the full orchestra, full choir, full stage of musicians that played Roman Reigns out to the ring on that second night.
Yeah.
Like that's WrestleMania
size you're absolutely right. I mean, you're not wrong, and it was just that I'm so about the crowd over the spectacle. Yeah. To me, like, I like chants, I like the screaming, the louder the crowd, the more into it I am.
Yeah.
And I don't need a big stage, like I love pyro, but I don't need all the other things. And you know what amazes me still, side note, is that the pyro is still all manually shot, even with all the advancements in technology and whatnot. It's still required for you to have a manual trigger. Like, you can't have a program for it. It's still manual trigger release.
Yeah. No, I love the fan stuff too, especially right now because we're in sort of like this rising up of WWE and popularity, and they're riding the wave right now. It's all that, but there's just something, and like it only works because it's the Roman Reigns character and how big he thinks he is and how big he is in the company and how representative it all is. Like the Roman Reigns entrance, and it's got nothing to do with the fact that it's Roman Reigns even in this case. That's an awesome thing that's not going to happen next week. That's an awesome thing that's that twinge of I'm watching WrestleMania on TV, but I wish I was there. That's that example of wrestling is already huge. This is one moment where it gets gigantic. Like that's what that,
you're right.
That's what
it
that
is
moment
massive.
And you're coming at it from the participation point of view, which is absolutely valid. I normally do too, but that entrance made me go holy shit.
But in this instance, and that's what I love about these things. Like you and I line up a lot, but we don't line up on everything. And that's what makes it interesting. That's one of the reasons I really enjoy working with you.
This is the thing. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you either. We're just looking at two different things.
Yes, thank you. And that's what I was trying to point out. You got it, my friend. We can have differing opinions. No one's right. No one's wrong. We're both right in how we feel.
Well, we're right.
And yes, but there's no, like, definitively right answer. And that's what I think people forget at times. Like, they look at it in a way like, oh, how I feel is how it has to be. And guess what? It doesn't.
No, because here's the thing, though. Like, every time... And, I mean, no, there's some stuff I'm going to argue with people about, obviously, right? But every time I hear somebody that disagrees with me and you ask the question why, like you and I can, because we're in a forum like this, it's not only that, like, their opinion is different than yours, how they got there is usually different than how you got there. And that's where different interesting conversations happen.
Yeah.
But now we're down
I get
to
that.
Male and female star of the year. I'm going to read through both of them, and I'm going to let you give both your answers, and I'm going to give both my answers, because I think we're the same. Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Bayley, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Chelsea Green, Io Sky, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Gunther, CM Punk, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins.
I'm going to let you go first on this one.
I'm going to let you guess what my answers are.
I was going to say you're probably picking Bianca, but no, you're going to be... I assumed Rhea Ripley was going to be your choice.
Yep.
Okay.
My choices are Ripley. My choices are Ripley and Punk.
And that's truly not
surprising.
Totally yeah, but with Punk it could have gone a few ways. So I figured it would be, and Punk is my choice as well. But my female choice, and it's not even like I am absolutely head over heels for what she's done and all that, but if you really look at like who deserves it, and that's what I feel here, is Liv Morgan.
Fair.
And the reason I say that is look back where she was before this year. Mm-hmm. She has been here for ages. It doesn't seem like it, but the Riot Squad was like a 2015-16 thing. You know what I mean? Like, she's been on this roster for a long time. And as the cat knocks over drinks, I genuinely have been impressed by everything that she has been able to accomplish. She made herself a main eventer. She made herself the focal point of pretty much the whole summer was dedicated to her on TV. She main evented a lot of things. I feel like it's just her.
Here's where I would love to say I wish that you could have breakout main eventers, because there's two people on this list that I would love to say they've been great breakout stars, but they've been kicking around forever. It just seems like they've broken out recently. Liv Morgan's one of them, Jey Uso's the other one. But they're so big in the company that nobody's going to consider them a star that's broken out. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Because Jey Uso has broken out this year, obviously. Oh, sorry. Midway through last year to right now where we are, obviously, with him winning the Rumble and whatnot. He's broken out. The crowd fucking love him. He's not bigger than CM Punk.
No.
And I say that with all respect, because I hope Jey Uso goes to WrestleMania and beats Gunther. Spoiler. But the same thing goes for Liv Morgan. I've been an advocate for Liv Morgan. Not that she needs my advocacy. I'm one dickhead with a podcast. But, like, we said it on the last podcast. A lot of people, I hate to admit it, but I guess she's getting pretty good. Why do you hate to admit it? She's not just getting good now. Fuck off. But, at the same time, for as much as she's coming, as far as she's coming, how much she's head and shoulders over almost everybody.
Why you got to bring head into this, huh? God, see, we're trying to make you not a misogynist, and you jump it right into the...
Anyways, let me finish my thought now. I had a really good thought going there. As much as she's proven herself, and as much as she's head and shoulders over almost everybody, that almost is Rhea Ripley.
Giggity.
Exactly.
And you are absolutely right, and that's a great point. I'm sorry, I had to on it,
but
no,
Rhea Ripley does the stupid sexy Rhea pin. So
yes, and no, I realistically should be picking Rhea. And in my mind, I want to be. Well, no, because in my mind, she's the top. She's the absolute pinnacle of what I look forward to seeing in women's wrestling. Mm-hmm. She's believable, and I genuinely I'm excited by her and what she does in the ring. It's enticing. It's alluring. It's surprising. It's something else, she's got that it factor. She's not China, where she's so manly that she shouldn't be in the women's division.
But she's today's China, though.
Yes, in an acceptable way that fans are let's be about this. Let's be over, before, and let's do that. And they're being supportive, and that's what's really refreshing to see. So,
no, it's really true. And I've always used the indicator because, we talk about, how everything goes in, multiple streams and there's, 10 different things we can book, right?
Yes.
Whoever's got your attention the most is the person you fantasy book the most.
Okay.
I've booked just about everybody that I want to see succeed. Like Jade Cargill, Jordynne Grace, Zarya. I've even done some ideas do a rematch with Becky Lynch. I'd love to see a match between her and Bayley. I want to see all these people, and I want to see them go against Rhea Ripley, because right now she's the glass ceiling, right?
Yeah.
I like Jey Uso, right? I want him to have a title run, and I want him to run through some people, and I want to see him sit pretty with the belt. It's going to be awesome, right? But
it feels like it's going to be.
But I'm not booking as many fantasy opponents for him as I am for CM Punk.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get to do it for 10 years. And he's an interesting character. And with CM Punk, because his game is so much on the microphone as well, I want to see what CM Punk has to say about Sami Zayn. I want to see what CM Punk has to say about Kevin Owens before they beat the shit out of each other. I want to see if there can be a respect found between him and Damian Priest, because he helped Damian Priest cash in to get that first world title run. Yeah. I want to see what CM Punk with a mic in his hand standing in front of Gunther looks like.
Yeah.
I want to see CM Punk, hey, Jey Uso, I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. But you've got something on your shoulder that I want. Because I'm sorry, at that point, as much as I'm happy for Jey Uso, and he's finally reached he didn't take the belt off Roman like he should have, but he's come up from under the shadow of Roman and he's got himself a world title. You throw CM Punk into that scenario, it's not a Jey Uso match anymore. It's a CM Punk match.
Yeah.
And that's, again, I've said this a lot today because we're picking awards and stuff like that, so I got to say, it's no shade on Jey Uso. I'm ridiculously happy for the guy. I'm ridiculously happy for Jey Uso this year, the same way I was ridiculously happy for Drew McIntyre last year. But who put Drew McIntyre into that situation, into that spotlight, so I could be happy for him? It's CM Punk.
I agree with that. And Punk
Liv
is
Morgan,
my choice still.
Liv Morgan looks as big as she does right now because she's been staring down the dragon known as Rhea Ripley for a year straight now.
Yeah.
She's done it with backup, she's done it with trickery, she's done it with chicanery, she's done it with shenanigans, but in her own way, with all the tools in her tool belt, she has been the one staring down Rhea Ripley all year, which means she was built off Rhea Ripley, which means Rhea Ripley is still the measuring stick.
Yeah.
Anyways.
You're not wrong. I mean, and that's the thing, she is the measuring stick in every sense of the word and way. And she's earned it. I mean, she really has. She's just so damn must see. She captures your attention, and you have to watch her.
Every now and then, right? And you shouldn't do this too much because she even said like she wasn't feeling herself at the time, right?
Yeah.
I go back to the first Mae Young Classic, and I watch Rhea Ripley. You watch her there, watch her now, and it's an absolute transformation. First of all, like all the visual stuff, like, oh yeah, she dyed her hair black and she gets to dress the way she likes and she got more jacked and whatever. And
yeah,
there's a thing, and I'm definitely ripping this off Simon Miller, but a good point is a good point, right?
That it is.
He bigs up Nia Jax quite a bit. Nobody is as good at being Nia Jax as Nia Jax is, right? I'm gonna co-opt that. Nobody is Rhea Ripley as much as Rhea Ripley is.
Yeah, you're not wrong there either.
Like we've made the comparisons to China, and those comparisons are kind of loose. There's nobody that you can say Rhea Ripley.
Loose, you say?
Yeah, don't do it. There's nobody that you can say Rhea Ripley is trying to be other than Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, Rhea is not loose.
Well, that's up to her, buddy.
She chopped the shit out of him.
Have you seen those videos?
I knew you were going to say that. My God.
She's bigger than him.
Yes.
They've got a Jordan Grace, Jonathan Gresham situation, except Buddy needs to work on his tan for that to work. Anyways, Obviously I'm leaving this on a high note. This was a lot of fun. I mean, it's just us giving us a chance to randomly talk about shit that we like. But the Slammies is a cool thing. The Slammies is everything and nothing. Like, we can talk about this now, and as soon as those trophies are handed out, it's back to being nothing until next year. Yeah. It's one of those things. I still put more stock into
it.
But
I like award shows. I like award shows. Yeah. I like, that's part of me. I enjoy it. So I really want to see... when it's genuine, and that's a thing that we lacked for a while, where they changed the Slammies, where it wasn't like fan voted, and remember they kind of had like it was like the guest host, point in time too. So
I mean, I still don't believe that it's fan voted, but you can make the fans feel like they're involved.
I think it is now, honestly. Okay. So being truthful, it seems like it.
You know what I just realized?
What's that, sir?
I didn't realize it until you made the joke when we talked about Female Superstar of the Year, and you're like, oh, I bet it's going to be Bianca Belair.
Mm-hmm.
She's not on the list.
Really? See? Ooh. It doesn't surprise me, though.
That just made my fucking day.
It doesn't surprise me, because what did she accomplish last year? Fuck all.
She accomplished carrying around a tag title belt that said, I get to be on all 3 shows, and let me whip you with my hair. I whip my hair back and forth.
They were practically gifted, and I don't mean it it's the truth. Honestly, like, they were gifted the tag titles there.
Yep.
I don't know. You know as well as I do.
I feel really bad for Jade Cargill. I wish she had something better to do at WrestleMania.